The kingdom between light and shadow. Once upon a time, in a distant, magical land, there existed a world where light and shadow were constantly at war. This world relied on a delicate balance between the two forces. If the light grew too strong, everything would become blinding, and if the shadows took over, the world would be consumed by darkness. In a small village near a dense forest, a boy named Ethan lived. Ethan was a curious and adventurous boy, always drawn to the mysteries of the world around him. One day, while wandering deeper into the forest than he had ever dared before, Ethan noticed something strange. The sunlight seemed a little too bright, and the shadows a little too deep. He felt a strange pull, as if the forest itself was calling him. As he ventured further, Ethan stumbled upon an ancient stone door hidden behind thick vines. The door was massive, covered in strange symbols, and at the top, there was an inscription that glowed faintly. "Welcome to the kingdom between light and shadow. The balance is in your hands." Ethan, unsure of what to do, touched the door, and as soon as his hand made contact, it creaked open. A blinding light engulfed him, and when he opened his eyes, he found himself in a world unlike anything he had ever seen. The sky above him was divided in two, half bathed in eternal sunlight, and the other shrouded in never-ending darkness. This was the kingdom of light and shadow. A group of ethereal beings approached Ethan. One of them, a regal figure named Lady Lumina, the Queen of Light, spoke to him. "We have been waiting for you, young traveler. The balance of our world is in danger. If we cannot restore it, light will overpower everything, or the shadows will drown us in eternal night." Beside her stood the King of Shadows, Lord Umbra. He was tall and mysterious, with dark flowing robes that seemed to merge with the night itself. Neither the light nor the shadows can rule alone. They must coexist in harmony, but right now we are at war, Lord Umbra said, his deep voice sending shivers down Ethan's spine. At first, Ethan felt small and overwhelmed. How could a simple boy like him help in such a vast and complicated world? But then, a small fluttering creature, a sprite named Willow, appeared and perched on his shoulder. "You're not alone, Ethan," Willow chirped. "We'll guide you. But only you can bring peace to the kingdom." With newfound determination, Ethan set off with Willow as his guide. They traveled through the vast lands of the kingdom. On one side, the light creatures danced freely, their radiant forms filling the air with warmth and life. Ethan met creatures like Solaris, the lion made entirely of sunlight, and Lyra, the bird with glowing feathers. They were friendly but worried. Too much light was making the land too hot, and even the plants were wilting. On the other side of the kingdom, deep in the shadowed forests, Ethan encountered the creatures of darkness. There he met creatures like Nyx, the fox whose fur shimmered like the night sky, and Moros, a gentle giant made of mist and shadow. Despite their intimidating appearances, they weren't evil, they were just misunderstood. Too much darkness, however, was causing the land to freeze, and the creatures were growing weaker. Ethan began to understand. The problem wasn't that one side was good, and the other was bad. Both light and shadow were necessary, but without balance, their world would fall apart. Ethan and Willow arrived at the heart of the kingdom, where a large, ancient mirror stood. It was said that this mirror had once kept the balance between light and shadow. But now it was cracked, and the two forces were clashing rather than coexisting. To restore the balance, Ethan realized he had to mend the mirror, but he wasn't sure how. As he pondered what to do, both Lady Lumina and Lord Umbra appeared again. "The mirror reflects the balance within you," Lady Lumina said gently. "To fix it, you must find harmony between light and shadow in yourself." Ethan closed his eyes and thought about all the moments in his life when he had experienced both light and shadow. He remembered the sunny days spent laughing with his family, but he also remembered the times when he felt scared or sad, hiding from the world. Both were parts of him, and both were important. When Ethan opened his eyes, he stepped forward and placed his hands on the mirror. As he did, the cracks began to heal, and a soft, shimmering light filled the air. Slowly, the two halves of the kingdom, the light and the shadow, began to merge, not as enemies, but as partners. The once blinding sunlight softened, and the oppressive darkness lifted. The creatures of light and shadow looked at each other with new understanding. They were no longer at war. Ethan had shown them that they needed each other to survive. With the balance restored, Lady Lumina and Lord Umbra thanked Ethan. "You have saved our world, brave one," Lady Lumina said. "The kingdom of light and shadow will remember your name for generations." As Ethan prepared to return home, Willow fluttered beside him one last time. "Remember, Ethan, balance is not just for our world but for yours too. Light and shadow exist in everything. Just as you've learned here, always seek the balance within yourself." And with that, Ethan found himself standing back in the forest, the stone door now sealed behind him. He looked up at the sky. It was just the right mix of light and shadow. Smiling to himself, Ethan made his way home, knowing that wherever he went, he carried the balance of light and shadow with him. That night, as Ethan lay in bed, he thought about his journey. He closed his eyes, ready for a peaceful sleep, filled with dreams of light, shadow, and the magic of finding balance in both. And so, Ethan's adventure came to an end, and just like you, he peacefully lay down to sleep. Now, close your eyes, and just like Ethan, you can explore magical worlds where light and shadow dance together in harmony. Sweet dreams, little hero. May the light and shadow always keep you balanced and safe in your beautiful sleep.